Carl and Lou here from Games, Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and it's one must go as we're taking a look at horror villains, basically putting horror villains up against each other in the usual fashion we do, from a similar franchise, from a similar style of villain, e.g. if they're a slasher killer, they're likely to go up against each other, and it's more about the iconic nature of each one. Which one stands out more for you? Which one film franchises have you enjoyed more? Which one do you get more of a threat from, and so on and so forth, and all these kind of things. Yeah. So, of course, as always, I have 20 here. Yes, I have 20 here that you obviously don't know about.
No.
I will be playing along because although I wrote them, I haven't decided myself.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a wrong or right answer, is it?
There is no wrong or right answer at all. You know, you are talking about ultimately getting rid of one and keeping the other based upon preferences more than anything else. And, of course, a little bit of analysis as to why you choose that one. So we'll kick off straight away then with two thoughtful killers, I guess, or what's the word I look for?
Oh, I think I know who's going to be in it. Thinking about
killers with a little bit more mind to them, like
there's a word for it, isn't it? Not visceral.
No, visceral's more like visual, than it.
There's a word for brainy.
Well, let me just say who they are: Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, or Norman Bates from the Psycho series.
I've not seen the Psycho film, so.
No, this is a difficult one. Well, you know Norman Bates, right?
Yeah,
you know the iconic imagery, you know the iconic story of Psycho. The difficulty with this one is American Psycho, Patrick Bateman is one movie alone, whereas Norman Bates is four. At least the original iteration, and quite a different character across those movies. Yeah. So for me, I'm going to weigh it up based across the original Psycho versus
American Psycho.
Yeah, American Psycho. So the original too.
Yeah. I know of Norman Bates from Psycho franchises. I still think I'd go with Norman Bates. Because American Psycho, there's no 100% evidence that he actually did anything. Yeah. He could just be a bored yuppie with fantasies.
An incredibly vivid imagination,
Which I think comes from being such a boring job. So I don't think that film actually happened. I think it's just his fantasies as a film. So I'm going to go with Norman Bates, because he has to be clever to hide what he was doing. That's Psycho, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, of course.
His mum hidden away, dead, and...
Well, right, so... Yeah, so I mean, right, spoilers obviously in regards to what I'm about to tell you now in regards to Psycho. So, spoilers, come on people, it's a 1960s movie.
It's still not seen it.
Right, but so like, of course, obviously the big twist is that Norman Bates is Norman Bates. His mother was already dead and he's been dressing up with her and killing people when they come to the Bates Motel. Now, of course, the movie does end with him being caught and ultimately standing trial. But it's the end scene is why I choose Norman Bates. And we're talking about sitting outside the courtroom with the monologue in his head where he talks about how he knows he'll effectively get away with it. And that smile and why. And it's like, oh, you kind of you know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. The fly buzzing around on him and stuff like that. Like that's different. Whereas when I look at Bateman, while it's measured and thought out and stuff like that, there is a certain level of psychopathy to it in that... When he's in the moment, he's just crazy. Yeah. You know? The whole is it real or isn't it real never really kind of resonated that much with me, American Psycho.
I always thought it was.
Because also I'm not in love with the fact that movie's held up as some sort of pillar of, like, oh, look at yuppie culture. As if, like, that's reminiscent of how like, that, you know, like, in a similar way to, like, how, like, The Wolf of Wall Street glamorizes... certain aspects that shouldn't be, although it tries not to. Same with American Psycho and stuff like that. It's parodied now. People have fun with it. It's stuff like that. That to me dents its impact. You don't get that really with Psycho.
No, American Psycho. I wouldn't want to live Patrick Bateman's lifestyle.
Well, no, because it's designed to make you feel that way. It's designed to elicit that reaction from you. Yeah. It is designed to do that. Of course it is. But, like, for me, iconic killer is Norman Bates, regardless of whether its impact's been dented over the years. I still think the original Psycho is really, really strong. I mean, it's a classic for all the reasons. So, for me, Norman Bates, too.
I'm going to have to watch it. I'm going to have to actually watch the Psycho.
It's got some sequels as well, and some of them are good. Some of them are good. I think there's a later one. I can't quite remember. I think it might be the third or the fourth one. Was the kind of one where he's trying to live a normal life. And the events around him start to cause problems. I think I really enjoyed that one.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And obviously there's like prequels and TV series and stuff like that. But that's areas I haven't really delved into, you know? Okay, Battle of the Aliens.
Okay.
So it's simple. It's the Thing, the entity that is the Thing, versus the Xenomorph, the alien from Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, you know? Yeah. So for me, this is super fucking easy because naturally I'm like, oh, yeah, but the Thing's so cool, it's so interesting and stuff like that. Here's where it kind of gets dented, right? The Thing sequel / prequel that came out added an element to it that I never ever liked, which is the alien ship segment. That made it feel less mysterious. It made it feel less interesting. But also, when it comes down to it, it's just an entity that possesses you and twists your body. The Xenomorph is a designed creature to exist as it is and evolve from the early stage of a facehugger, the larvae, the egg, the small alien comes out into the big, black, towering thing that it is. The Xenomorph. Absolutely. It's an incredible design.
It is an incredible design. I'm still going to keep the Thing.
That's so... Is this because of the movie, though? Or is it the actual creature? Because what do you actually... Well, okay, no, we do kind of... I guess you could argue, the end of the Thing is the Thing itself, where it comes rising out of the ground.
Oh, yeah.
That's not that impressive. It's more impressive when it's the human elements twisting the body.
The fact that you can kind of move from person to person. I like the idea of that more.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it's your choice.
Exactly.
It's your choice. I just find it
My choice.
outrageous. So you're saying get rid of the Xenomorph never again. Okay. Well, okay. Battle of the animals, the real life things.
Okay.
So we have the shark from Jaws, or Cujo, the rabid dog from Cujo. Both innocent, both just doing what they do, what they've always, Cujo gets infected and gets rabies. Yeah. That's not his fault. The shark is just doing what sharks do, regardless if the films try and tell you like it's some sort of, or later films try to tell you like it's some sort of vendetta.
Yeah. I'm going to keep Jaws.
Mm-hmm. You're going to keep the shark?
I'm going to keep Jaws the shark.
Yeah, Jaws the shark, yes.
Just because it's just doing his sharky bitey thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the dog has got rabies. That's the disease that can affect anyone. Well, not affect anyone, but like
affect a lot of animals. Yeah.
A lot of animals, and that's what gives them the vicious nature, the killer nature, is the rabies. So
I
I'm
agree.
keeping Jaws the shark.
Yeah, I agree with you in that. Ultimately, Cujo is an innocent victim in all of this, whereas the shark is doing what a shark does. It adds that fear of the water. It's a realistic, not visually in a film, but it's a realistic villain of a movie because great whites obviously exist and can be extremely dangerous / terrifying. Yeah. So for me, the shark too. Okay, Battle of the Scientists.
Okay.
Although both have different paths.
Right.
Seth Brundle from The Fly, and Herbert West from Reanimator. So, of course, obviously, if you don't know Seth Brundle, he is attempting to create teleportation and ends up teleporting himself with a fly and then slowly transforming over the movie into a human hybrid. It's a very early movie, then was redone by David Cronenberg in the 80s, and that is a brilliant movie. I do urge you to check that out if you've never seen it. And Reanimator, of course, adapted from H.P. Lovecraft's work, zombies, reanimation, and portrayed wonderfully by, I can't remember his name. Damn it.
Oh,
damn it, it's got on my... Jeffrey, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's so well done. Wonderful. And here's a real selling point. Herbert West, Jeffrey Combs, and how he's portrayed is also brilliant in the sequels. Bride of Reanimator is one of my favourite Reanimator films. Whereas the Fly sequels, while Seth Brundle obviously isn't in it anymore, the Fly sequels are bad.
Yeah. There's something about the idea of the Fly, what he does with the Fly, the Fly experiment.
Well, we should say, again, Jeff Goldblum is brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant in this role.
I think I'd keep Seth Brundle, innit? Brundle, because Brundle Fly.
Brundle Fly, yeah.
Yeah, Brundle. I'd keep Dr. Brundle.
Dr. Brundle.
Yeah.
Okay. I disagree, Herbert West, because the difference is Brundle's a victim. It's an accident what happens to him. Reanimator, Herbert West does what he wants to do. He does it with an arrogance. He knows he doesn't care. He wants to perfect his serum, and he does it,
No, I find the story not more interesting, but
if you were to ask me on a visual aspect kind of thing, of course it's going to be Seth Brundle because of the transformation into the Fly and this. There's some incredible stuff there. But yeah, just when I think in my head, I always feel sorry for Brundle. I don't feel sorry for Herbert West. No. For me, West. Okay, 2 battles of the icons from slasher movies here.
Okay.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees.
I'm keeping Michael all day long.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Why? Now, I can... Alright, okay, this isn't necessarily fair for me to throw out why for you, because I think I got the deeper dive here than you do. So, because obviously I've seen every Halloween movie, and I've seen every Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
You haven't seen a lot of Halloween sequels, and a lot...
Yeah, I've seen up to the 3rd Halloween.
Well, 3rd Halloween, yeah, is obviously the standalone one, but you haven't seen 4, 5 and 6.
No.
You've seen H20.
Yeah.
You've seen Resurrection.
It's got Coolio in it, not Coolio.
No, not Snoop Dogg. Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes, of course, yeah. And obviously you've seen Rob Zombie's versions.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the current iteration of series of films.
Yeah.
But Friday the 13th, how many of those have you seen?
The first one.
The first one, is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So, you know, it's worth noting that Jason Voorhees changes quite dramatically over the series, you know, becoming a sort of undead zombie-style creature, barely in one film as well, where it's more of a human killer. Of course, Jason X in space and all those sort of aspects, including the remakes that also got done for that too.
Yeah,
so it's a bit harder, I guess.
I mean, both got the elements of, like, silliness in that sense of things, like how much they go through and...
Oh, God, yeah, I mean...
They never just explicitly say they're supernatural character, like for Michael. They don't explicitly say that he's supernatural, do they?
Well, this is where you start getting into the debate area of certain things, right? So with Friday the 13th, it is very much said at a certain point that it is supernatural because Jason is reanimated from the grave in a later movie. So that is sorted and done. That is done. Michael Myers. Halloween 6. I'm of course referring to Halloween 6, and we start doing the whole Cult of Thorn business and that side of things. It should also be noted that the latest Halloween Kills, ends by effectively suggesting that he is supernatural as well.
Okay.
Remember, he gets beaten down and killed and comes back. Yeah. So they all have played around with the idea. I think Friday the 13th went a bit more direct with it. Here's the thing. For me, though, it is still Michael Myers, and I'm basing it off the first films alone. I'm basing it off the original shape from Halloween and the threat and the way he moved and the slow, methodical pace and ability to sort of watch from afar and plan his attack, but without ever really knowing anything about him.
But even like the mask, his mask is better than I find.
Well, it's hard again because obviously Jason doesn't get his mask until the 3rd part of the movie. That's something. The 3rd part of the series. That's something you kind of forget as well. In the 2nd one, he wears a bag over his head.
Oh.
Which is where that model comes from with the sack over his head. That's Friday the 13th
lost
too.
On me,
And of course the original movie didn't, no spoilers, it's a fucking basic quiz question. He didn't even appear, except as a child.
Pamela.
Yeah, Pamela Voorhees. So for me, I think Michael Myers has been hurt more by bad sequels than Jason has. Like, Friday the 13th has plenty of bad sequels, but Jason's such a mainstay. And his slow, methodical... Well, not even slow, because he's faster, but his pace, his moving, his killing spree, his way he acts, particularly in the later movies, to me is more interesting than Michael Myers in later movies, you know? Also, Jason never got fucked around with in the same way The Mask does in Halloween. And I think of H20, where for some reason they decided to make the eye holes even bigger so you can clearly see his eyes. And it's really fucking off-putting, you know? Aspects like that. But for me, it is still Michael Myers.
I would keep Michael Myers.
Alright, I had a bit of a deep dive with that one. So let's move on to something a bit more basic. It's Battle of the Dolls.
Okay.
Haunted dolls, sort of. Annabelle or Chucky. 2 very different kind of things. Annabelle is a sort of spiritually possessed doll that gets passed down hand to hand to different people. There's in the movie series, it seems to be the daughter, possessed by the daughter, or a woman who went into joined a cult. If you remember that scene. That's where that comes from. Annabelle's initial introduction in The Conjuring is excellent, and the second Annabelle movie Annabelle Creation, which is the one with the children at the orphanage.
Oh, yeah.
Is a really strong movie compared to what comes before and after in that
Yeah.
series. So I'm not anti-Annabelle at all. It's just, it's like, I want a doll and all that kind of thing. Yeah. Where Chucky, of course, is chosen to be, Charles Lee Bradley. Is it Charles Lee Bradley?
Brady?
No, I think it's Charles Lee Bradley is the character that ends up infusing his soul as he's dying into Chucky, and that kicks all of them off. Of course, a character that has kind of come a bit more of a comedic edge in later movies, thanks to Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, and stuff like that. But has since been taking a bit more of a darker turn with later movies like Cult of Chucky, the remake, which I admit I've not seen, and the current TV series that I do kind of want to check out when it eventually wanders over to our aisles. So for me, particularly based off the early movies, because I'm a big fan of the Child's Play movies, I think sequels have some merit as well. It's Chucky. He's an iconic character.
I've only seen the first Chucky. I've seen the first Chucky one and the one with Jennifer
Chucky
Tilly.
1.
Chucky 1. Child's Play.
Child's Play, the original Child's Play, yeah. And all with Jennifer Tilly. It's
Yeah.
But then that
Because she looked good in that. So.
there are a couple with Jennifer Tilly. Yeah, I presume you mean Bride of Chucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's I think the one with Jennifer Tilly appears more as a human character than as the doll.
Goth boyfriend. They do some sort of the seance to bring.
I've never seen Bride of Chucky.
Oh, okay.
I've seen Seed of Chucky, but I've never seen Bride. So I can't really comment on that. I feel like I've seen a lot of clips of it, but that's about it, really.
I go with Chucky because Chucky was created to look like that, and obviously over the films he obviously got a bit more bashed up in that.
Oh right, yeah, the stitches and stuff.
He was a weird looking doll, but that's how he was sold to kids.
Yeah.
Annabelle, the fucking state of it.
Yeah.
It's given as like look at his get in the bin, like this doll looks fucked up already.
Yeah. That's true, yeah.
And it takes you out of it because you've got to believe that people would actually give their kids these.
That's true, yep. No, I can buy into that.
That's what, even though I've not seen many of the Child's Play films, so I've not got a huge history of it, I would still overall go, yeah, it's iconic, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. This one I struggle to put people up against each other because I have Pinhead. I was like, who the fuck do you put up against Pinhead? So I chose a generalised one to do with possession. So you can kind of pick them from all walks of all three movies if you want. Hell, you can even add the remake if you want as well. And that's the Deadites. So from the Evil Dead series, so any and all against Pinhead. Because that makes it very, very difficult. Because obviously Pinhead's quite an iconic character. However, one that has been harmed heavily by poor sequel after poor sequel and deep dives into his background in Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, and then poor performances when Doug Bradley got replaced. Pinhead. Or the Deadites. The Deadites, I mean, it's general, really. It's some good possession stuff. I put that in because I liked certain angles, like the original Evil Dead, the one that sort of sits there and laughs at Ash. Of course, Ash's possessed twin in Army of Darkness. Yeah.
I'd go Pinhead.
Yeah, it is.
I have to be Pinhead because he's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's cold, he's soulless, the voice.
The fact that he didn't, the name Pinhead was not coined from the movies originally. The fact that the book had him as a member of the Cenobites and the real enemy or top dog of that was the engineer, shows how he grew in stature. I do think he's hurt by a lot of the sequels, though.
Yeah, we've done all that, haven't we?
We have indeed. Okay, Battle of the Dreams, so to speak.
Okay.
So I've gone with Freddy Krueger or Candyman. Now, of course, this is a problem because Candyman has 3 original movies and the sequel, not remake, sequel. Modern sequel that's just come out in the last couple of years, whereas obviously Freddy Krueger is an icon of horror with many, many films and a remake as well. Over a decade old, I believe that remake is now. Screams were certainly not following that franchise that much, are we? No. So it is difficult. Of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, you've not seen all the sequels. No, have you? You have now. Yeah, of course, we watched them all for in depth. Yeah.
All of them. Yeah.
All of them. Yeah.
I would keep Candyman. I would.
Have you seen Candyman 2 or Candyman 3?
No.
Fell to the Flesh and Day of the Dead.
No.
Okay. I wonder if that would change your mind.
The original and the remake, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, the remake's a good movie.
That was good. I enjoyed what they did with that. It was quite clever. But I don't know. Just think about the whole story, Candyman and urban legends and stuff like that. And I watched Candyman younger, so it had more of an impact on me. Like I didn't watch Nightmare on Elm Street till way later than probably you did.
Right.
So it kind of always stayed in my head.
Okay. I massively disagree in this one. I think if you've seen the sequels, you might actually agree a bit more with me. Obviously, Fell to the Flesh. Yeah, Fell to the Flesh is the second one. Decides to really double down in the sympathetic angle.
Oh, okay.
And I really struggled with that. I have no problem with him being a sympathetic character to a degree, as the first one suggests. But ultimately, you know, it's still an evil villain. It's still an entity that does evil things at this stage, particularly in who he targets. Day of the Dead and the love angle and the what do they call it? Rebirth, reanimation. What do they call it?
Reimagining?
No, where like someone who basically his love, the woman he fell in love with back when he was like younger, and a slave and getting murdered. There's a modern reincarnation. There we go. I really didn't like that at all. I like the legend aspect. I like that. I like that from the first film. I like that from the current movie, the latest in this series. But ultimately, Freddy Krueger, for all his changes and adaptations, I've enjoyed almost everything that comes from those series, bad sequels including, from the early horror aspect to the more tongue-in-cheek, piss-taking behaviour that comes from it. The one thing that really harms it for me, and I hate saying this because I really like the actor, it's the remake. And that version of Freddy Krueger, I really don't like. No. And Jackie Earl Haley is a good actor, so it kind of sucks that I have that blemish on his character, on his ability.
It does.
Yeah, but yeah, so for me it's Freddy Krueger. Battle of the Crazies here. Annie Wilkes versus Jack Torrance. Of course, both Stephen King franchises. We are talking about Jack Torrance from The Shining, and I mean just Jack Torrance, the original. None of the TV movie mini films. I'm talking about that one, Jack Nicholson's portrayal, and the same with Annie Wilkes. I am, of course, talking about, and again, I've forgotten her name. I'm drawing blanks on names at the moment. Who plays her? Kathy Bates, yes, from the Misery movie. I know she's been portrayed as a different character by a different actress in that TV series, whatever it's called. It's got a general name. Something to do with Maine, for some reason, I think.
Okay, I don't
know. It's kind of Castle Rock. Rock.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Not Maine, but Castle. Is Castle Rock a Maine? I think it is a Maine, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's where I get that from. Yeah. See, I'm talking about those two specifically. Now, there is an obvious difference, but I think both suffer from a debilitation. Annie Wilkes suffers clearly from depression.
Yeah.
And that affects a lot of her behaviour.
Yeah.
You see that at certain points in the movie, whereas Jack Torrance ultimately is a victim. Dealing with obviously his drink problems plus the influence of the Overlook Hotel. So I reckon the only way to judge this is on the performances. And that to me means Annie Wilkes wins.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
It was a really tough one. I was like, can we cheat? And if we both say different ones.
Oh, me and Brendan have done that, yeah.
Cheating. Because I feel like Annie Wilkes, it's more long term. Like her descent into what she's been doing is so complex and so drawn out over the years compared to Jack Torrance. So Jack Torrance is all quite acute. He goes to Overlook. His lack of drink, the social pressures of looking after his family and all the rest of it. The
isolation.
It all builds up and it kind of a short, sharp burst because of the hotel. Annie Wilkes, it's not based on any supernatural. It's based on her lonely life. Long lonely life.
Yep.
And the fact she can hide and mask it so well and go from all these different stages. I mean, she won an Oscar, didn't she?
Did she win an Oscar?
I'm sure she won an Oscar for it.
I'm not sure. Horror doesn't win often,
no,
so...
She was nominated. She definitely got, obviously, a lot of praise and award for...
Well, it's considered an incredible performance, yeah.
The range she does. So I'd definitely keep Annie Wilkes because she's more terrifying because she's ultimately, on face of it, more normal. Yes,
it's that. It's the humanity side of things. Something I watched movies when I was younger and I couldn't really understand the nuanced detail in the character. And I always think of now what I recognise as a more depression-related character, which is... I can't remember what the scene is, but it might be at night, and she's a super down in the dumps. Sort of
she's got food down her.
And the next morning, she comes into his room, and she's super sunshine, peppy, and stuff like that. I thought that's sort of something I recognise when I'm older.
And like terror on James Caan's face, like, Jesus, what am I...
How do you handle that exactly? And of course, obviously, Jack Torrance, it's a Jack Nicholson role. That's the important sort of aspect you get from that.
And Jack Nicholson, I think portraying him as a family man is difficult.
It's difficult. He has a look about him. And here's the thing, it's no slur. He is brilliant in it. While I don't love The Shining the way others do, I've not quite reached that point where I'm like saying it's overrated or anything like that. I think it's dependent on how you feel. You know, I know King himself was he doesn't like the film and all that in relation to the adaptation of the book. But it's still an iconic role. Yeah.
They maybe could have done a bit more physically with him to show a bit more change. See what I mean? Made him look more.
I think there's some individual scenes and moments that really, really stand out strongly throughout it. You know, when he's standing at the window, sort of slack-jawed, dead-eyed, watching them play outside. Like a scene like that to me, that's we're getting across just like the mind's just wandering elsewhere. You know, that's good. Yeah, but yeah, Annie Wilkes for me too. Battle of the ghostly people.
Ghostly ghosts.
Sadako / Samara, take your pick. I am, of course, talking about the girl from the Ring. So Sadako for the original, and Samara as she's portrayed in the American remake / sequel, versus the Nun. The Nun from the Conjuring universe. So first appearing in the Conjuring 2 in a very strong part in the Conjuring 2, and then getting a standalone movie that was good. Better than I expected. Yeah. But was very much from that same universe, so really didn't excite me too much. Yeah, it didn't excite me too much. This is easy for me, and I'm basing it off the original Ring. And of course, you know, the story that ultimately that I came home late night from a very, very long time ago, a bit drunk and all that, switched to Channel 4, remember the channel, about 2 in the morning, and the Ring was halfway on. And I can't remember why I decided to carry on watching it, and I did. And that was it. That was the first J horror that I could remember ever seeing.
It looks bleak.
And the rest was history.
Yeah. I would go with the girl from the Ring because I think the Nun's an easy.
It's easy, isn't it?
Religious iconography and people involved in religion is a horror tick box because you can make it scary and God.
It is. Yeah.
Whereas the girl from the Ring, it was just a normal girl that they made absolutely fucking horrific.
No, agreed as well. And it should be noted as well that Sadako didn't get harmed by the prequel Ring O, however you want to say that. In fact, I felt like that always actually enhanced things, made it even more sympathetic as a villain, so to speak, but also one that you're like, well, you're never really going to change. Whereas the Nun aspect of things, I say, there's a part I really don't like, and it's weird considering my love affair that I have, love-hate affair I have with the Amityville series. I really didn't like the fact that they tied the Nun into the Amityville. And I was like, don't do that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's from The Conjuring, isn't it? Conjuring 2. That's where it starts in the Amityville house, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Like that on that.
Battle of the people who like to eat people.
I like that.
Yes. Hannibal Lecter.
Yep.
Sweeney Todd. This is difficult because when I said Sweeney Todd, what popped into your head? Was it Johnny Depp? That's not fair. There have been better, stronger portrayals.
Ray Winston played him quite well.
You know, better portrayals than this. And I'm going to be really controversial here. Hannibal Lecter has a serious ups and downs. That if we remove Silence of the Lambs from things, he would not be an icon. Now, I know, of course, we can't. No. Silence of the Lambs, it does exist. You can't ignore it. Yeah. But I watched I'd never seen any of the sequels for a long time. A couple of years ago, I finally got around to watching Red Dragon and Hannibal. I really like Red Dragon, but I like the analytical side of Red Dragon more than anything else. And I'll be honest, when I thought back to Red Dragon, I don't remember loads about Hannibal in that specifically compared to the other elements.
It's not his film. He's just
it's not. Right. I'm not knocking the film. I think Red Dragon's a good movie, but that means he doesn't stand out in the same way. And then we get Hannibal. And Hannibal is something else. Yeah. It is... I think go see it. If you've never seen it, and you've only, like I did, see Silence of the Lambs, go see a movie where they completely forget what the fuck made Hannibal Lecter scary, but also the absolute insanity of elements of that movie. Yeah. It's Anthony Hopkins doing a damn good job with a lot more difficulty than he had previously. It's also laughable because he's so much bloody older than he is in Silence of the Lambs and stuff like that.
Hair dye.
Yep. He just comes across a bit stupid in it as well. Some of the things he does. I really didn't like. I really couldn't get on board. All when you're like, "Wait, you're supposed to have been able to get away with this stuff and super smart. Yeah, this is how you behave. You're on the run and you went to Florence."
Yeah, I did like the sort of little side story with the Italian car.
Right. Stop right there.
Yeah.
That is not the side story. That should be the main story. Yeah. Drop all the other bollocks around fucking not Jodie Foster. What's her name? Who plays her in there? Julianne Moore. Clarice. Drop all of that and focus on that part of things majority, and it would have been a much better movie because you've got that, you've got Clarence, and then you've got fucking. Oh, I can't remember the character's name. Gary Oldman's character. That's so stupid, and I want to feed him to my hungry pig. Oh my god, that movie is so dumb. I think you have to go on Silence of the Lambs.
Then I think
It's that. There it is. It's that movie and how and the fact that he's not the main villain of that film. In fact, he's in fucking prison for most of it. To me, screams why that character's so iconic. Yeah. The fact that it's just that movie that people remember. It's been parodied. Things he's done have been parodied to death. You know.
But when you watch it, it's still it still holds up, and it's a classic film. So I definitely would go with keeping Hannibal.
Yep. Yeah. Right, 2 masked people I've gone for here. A little bit different, but I've kind of put them up against each other, I guess, for this reason. Leatherface or Harry Warden, the miner from My Bloody Valentine. My Bloody Valentine. Yeah. The miner. You remember the gas mask and stuff like that. Yeah. So Leatherface, of course, an icon of horror. Harry Warden, not so much. I realise you almost want to go off the top of your head straight away, Leatherface. Yeah. However, let's bear in mind what they've done to Leatherface over the fucking years. That's a problem. There have been some increasingly odd fucking direction change leading to the latest movie that I just did not like at all. I really did not like. Whereas My Bloody Valentine, both the original and the remake have merit. Yeah. But both have merit. The original is brilliant. The remake has things that are good. Yeah.
It's a difficult one.
Except for 2 things. I'm gonna go for Leatherface for 2 reasons. Okay. One is the original portrayal, of course, in the original movie, the pig squeals, the desperation, the
first time you see him burst out the fucking door.
Actually, I'm going to go 3. I'm going to add 1 more in that. So the second reason is, I think it might be the 3rd one or the 4th one, whichever one's got Renee. Is it Renee Zellweger? That one, whichever one that is, where they portray Leatherface as way more effeminate. Including that he tends to wear female masks, puts makeup on, hair. I thought that was a really interesting take on the character. Yeah. Different. I thought it was really interesting. The 3rd is actually how he's portrayed in the remakes. Now, while I don't love the sort of boring arse angle of him, I do like the hulking beast aspect of him. I feel like that has more ties to the original Leatherface than anything else, where he's just a big, hulking size of a man. And
I think that's how My Bloody Valentine...
It's just a dude in a mask.
Just dude in a gas mask. And if you says to people, who's more iconic, you wouldn't go...
That's not Harry Warden. It's for horror movie fans only, because what I do like about Harry Warden is the fact of the story about Harry Warden being the trapped miner who, everyone kind of is becoming an urban legend now to a certain degree. I like that. For me, Leatherface. Yeah. Pennywise original versus Pennywise remake. This isn't very necessarily fair. No, because they're 2 very different portrayals.
They do a really good job.
And both do very, very good job. Is it Stellan Skarsgård who does it?
No, Bill Skarsgård.
Bill Skarsgård for remake, and of course Tim Curry for original. Now, nostalgia blinds people to the original It, the 2-part mini series. I think it's a bad movie. I think overall, when you put 2 parts together, it's a bad movie with some very dumb shit, really boring at times, and very cheesy. Yeah. I think when you put the It parts together, again, you've got a similar problem in that it's okay, it's good, it can be scary. It's better. I think It remake is better than It original. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, because with a bit of money, because obviously the idea is so fucking whacked out, Stephen King's writing. We need some money behind it. We've kind of seen it with A Dark Tower. Obviously, that wasn't to our taste, but something like Dark Tower, they need to have money to throw behind it.
Yeah, you've got to
so
be
you've
willing.
got to show these dark fantasies, like the when the boy's been chased by the plague, the painting that comes, like you've got to have money to kind of do it properly.
Yeah. But even the original didn't have money either, do you know what I mean? A lot of practical effects, some really dumb shit, some really not so enjoyable stuff as well.
It's difficult because Tim Curry does a really good job, because when he changes from nice to horrible, it's scary. But so does Bill, because when Bill's going, hey Georgie, when he's all being cute and then he turns, it's like, oh my Christ.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård had a really good look where he has his mouth slightly hanging open and looking kind of like low down. It's a really, really good look. I am choosing Tim Curry though, and this is simply why. My issue with Bill Skarsgård, Pennywise, is there's nothing about that guy that is approachable to begin with. Tim Curry's Pennywise is an approachable looking clown for a child.
Yeah.
Which ties into the fact that that's how he would draw kids in.
Yeah.
Look at Bill Skarsgård. Do you think that clown was in any way approachable?
Yeah, no.
Even while smiling? No.
So, yeah.
Not in the slightest. That's a problem for me. Then you lost an aspect that's really important, which is how do we make this clown approachable? How do we make it that kids would want to go, oh, you know, take the balloon from him? When he's standing going, you know, Tim Curry was jolly, smiley, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. He had a clown thing that would entertain a kid. They get closer, he then does what he does. That's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
I, like all of you, enjoy how much he eats the scenery up.
Yeah.
Tim Curry, overacting to the level of stupidity. But that is fucking entertaining in a pretty unentertaining movie. Yeah. But Skarsgård, horror aspect, like he wins on that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? But for me, it's the issue about you're not approachable.
Yeah.
So it has to be Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Yeah. Demons.
Okay.
So Pazuzu, as portrayed in the Exorcist series, or the entity that is the Amityville demon. So obviously these are two things that have no tangible, visual what they are. They're entities we never see. We only see what they do and how they possess and portray. That Pazuzu's never.
You do get a flash of Pazuzu.
Well, yeah, but is that Pazuzu the demon, or is that another possession phase? Is that an entity it's chosen to take to give you that vision? Do you see what I mean? For me, it's an entity, and it could look like what it wants to look like at any stage.
I'm going with Pazuzu.
Okay.
I just from when you said it, that image flashed up.
But that
my
image
brain.
is not great.
That scared me. I didn't like that.
Lots of people say that. I don't buy it.
I didn't like that at all. I don't like things that just flash, because it's creepier than things that are just there for a long time.
Oh.
For me. I just found it, what that Pazuzu did, and its tactics, I found that nastier, because you could hear it speaking through the family, rather than Amityville. It was quite a short, sharp possession. In that sense, isn't it? With a boy, it starts off with a boy. I'm not getting confused with Amityville.
I think you are.
The boy shoots everyone in the family.
Well, right. So I'm going to explain my reasoning. I'm choosing the Amityville demon, and this is because of the scope of what that demon has created from the universe, the world, and where we currently sit right now. So Pazuzu, biblical horror and stuff like that, I think got very much harmed by some very dodgy sequels and prequels, 2 separate prequels as well. But also, it's an entity that is just demonic in nature, meaning that it could be any other demon, in my opinion. Yeah. The Amityville demon feels quite specific. But of course, the Amityville demon is got links to real life events, from the DeFeo murders and the stuff that occurred afterwards, and the fact that the Amityville house, 112 Ocean Avenue, is synonymous now. That imagery with this stuff. Of course, it's resulted in some absolutely consistently horrendous film after film after film after film after film, but just the basis in reality, I think really, really holds firm for me. When you see the facade of that house, the front of that house, you know exactly what it means. Give me something tangible about Pazuzu.
Came out of the desert.
But no, tangible, I said.
What do you mean tangible?
In that, a visual thing. So like I said, I've just said to you, the front of the house, that did exist as it looked for a very long time. Give me something about Pazuzu. That wasn't then created from the fecking movie. You can't go, that model or that statue and stuff like that. What's a tangible thing that you could see and make you go, Pazuzu? I've just told you, the front of the Amityville
Yeah.
house, you see that, those windows, just those windows.
The image that they show.
But that's in the movie.
I'm still going with the...
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
You're not getting the tangible thing, are you?
No, I'm really not.
I'm saying to you, like...
The beginning of it.
I'm saying to you right now,
get
with
it.
no reference at all, if someone walked up to you in the street
Yeah.
and held up the two windows of the Amityville house,
Yeah.
you would know exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But what if they held up some ancient Sumerian demon statue? Would you be able to go, oh, that's Pazuzu, or would you just be like, that's an ancient Sumerian demon? See what I mean?
that
That's
one. Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. That's what I mean more than anything else. But you know, I mean, if we're doing it by movies, but even The Exorcist doesn't deserve a free pass there. The Exorcist 2 is a horrendous movie, one of the worst films ever created. The Exorcist 3 is surprisingly strong, and then of course you've got the two prequels. So yeah, like it's not like they've got an Amityville, of course, is a shit show.
Oh wow, yeah.
But there are some really hidden gems amongst those sequels. You've just got to kind of look out. Dollhouse has some incredible ideas. The Amityville Murders, which came out in 2018, which played around more with the DeFeo stuff, has some really interesting stuff. So there is some good stuff out there. You just kind of got to wade for a lot of shit and avoid a lot of shit. Hey, you know what you can find out? Go to this website, gbhbl.com, and you'll find a definitive ranking where I'm constantly trying to keep up with the franchise and give you an idea of what's the good and the bad in that. Okay, classics. Right. Dracula or Frankenstein. Portrayals across all movies and franchises over the years, from the Universal portrayal from Bela Lugosi as Dracula to who played Frankenstein? It's gone in my head. Not Don Chaney. Oh, it's gone. Anyway, Frankenstein, the original version of that, to the 90s movies, De Niro's portrayal of Frankenstein and Gary Oldman of Dracula, to even modern stuff, Blade Trinity and Dracula and that, if you've ever seen that wank.
No,
To
unfortunately.
other ones like Frankenstein, Van Helsing, and how Frankenstein and Dracula are portrayed in that. For the record, just want to put out right now, while Van Helsing is a terrible movie, the guy that plays Dracula in that is one of my favourite Draculas ever. I know that is madness, but if you've seen that movie, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. His overacting in that movie is just so much fucking fun. And because of how boring that movie is and how bland Kate Beckinsale? I think it might be Kate Beckinsale and Hugh Jackman are. To have this dude screaming and overacting all the time just made me laugh my head off.
So can we include
Include everything.
Leslie Nielsen?
Hell, why not? Why not? Why not? As well. Ultimately, you know, it's anything and all. You can even go back to the original books if you've read Bram Stoker's work and Mary Shelley's work.
Difficult one.
It is difficult because there aren't always great portrayals either, and I guess it comes down to which one you find more interesting.
I think I'd find Frankenstein more interesting. Yep. Just because of, I did really like the Mary Shelley's one with Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh. It's not
a good movie. It's got.
I know, but the look of it.
I told you this at the time.
Gothic and gorgeous looking.
Yeah, I said to you at the time. I loved how visually arresting it is. Yeah. But I thought it was boring and not that interesting. I am not a fan of the 90s Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I really don't care for that movie. Yeah.
Gary Oldman.
You keep saying that,
I love it.
It's not a
so
slur
good.
on Gary Oldman.
And Anthony Hopkins is Van Helsing.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Oh, God. Yes, the accent.
There's a lot of bad, but that doesn't make a good movie. Just because you think something's stupid and crap, I don't get why that makes a good.
I find it entertaining. Anyway, but I think the idea between Frankenstein is fascinating because when I've read books about scientific discovery and that period of time where people were digging up bodies and working on them and trying to find out new science and how it kind of escalated quite quickly during that time, I think that's fascinating. So it's not too far in the realms of believability. We've got electricity now. We've got these cadavers. Let's play around with them, So yeah, I find that way more interesting than Dracula for me.
No, I agree, because for me, Frankenstein actually has produced a lot more interesting movies over the years, including a fantastic Mel Brooks parody that you really must see if you've never seen before. That's great fun. But Curse of Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, these are all good movies. Whereas Dracula hasn't always wowed me. The whole romantic thing about vampires, we'll get into that actually a little bit later on, because there is a specific category for that. But vampires are very hit and miss for me. Frankenstein always interests me. And of those two 90s movies, I'd probably want to watch Frankenstein more than Dracula, I think.
No, I'd probably want to watch Dracula more.
Okay.
But I still prefer Frankenstein for the ideas behind it.
Okay. All right, demonics thingies again, and it's specific here. The demons from the Demons franchise,
Right.
or the demons from the Night of the Demons franchise. So we are talking about two different styles here. Let's talk about Demons, the 80s ones, Demons 1 and 2 to begin with. More like an infection. It spreads very, very quickly, but they are savage creatures, terrifying. Whereas Night of the Demons, again, I guess it's similar to an infection again, but it seems to be more through a possession angle than anything else. Really portrayed strongly in the original, a classic 80s movie, and some strong elements in the sequels, but nothing that stands out. And a good attempt with a remake in regards to the demons, but missed the mark elsewhere with some downright stupid stuff. You should know my answer already. This is easy.
Yeah, going back to that, like the possession thing, it's lipsticks, isn't it?
Well,
lipstick in the Night of the Demons one, isn't it?
well, no, the Night of the Demons, it kind of gets unleashed from the... it gets woken up from the furnace at the bottom and then possesses Angela.
Yeah.
The lipstick comes into the sequel.
Yeah, and we all thought that was...
Which was weird, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
You take a used lipstick from an abandoned house.
And go, sweet, yeah.
So you have to get the story moving somehow.
Of course. You're going to go for demons, obviously.
Obviously. It's one of my icons of horror.
As well.
Yeah. Night of the Demons, though, I really like it. I like the way Angela looks. I love the visual look of a lot of different ones. I think some of the stuff they did later on was really interesting. Think of Night of the Demons 2, where her boobs turn into hands and rip his arm off.
Oh, yeah.
That's some really cool shit. Stuff like that. And the remake, with its colours, the amount of bright visual colours it used to create those demonic looks. I really like that as well.
I think I'll go for Night of the Demons.
Fair enough.
Because I think for me, they had more fun with it.
They definitely had more fun with it.
I think I'd go for that. I'd keep them.
I mean, it's demons from demons for me. They're terrifying. They always have and always will. The smallest scratch and you'll become one too. Yeah. That's fucked up. Okay. Oh, wow. Why did I put these two up against each other? Oh, it's because they're legends. Sort of legendary things.
Right.
All right. The Leprechaun from the Leprechaun franchise.
Okay.
Versus Victor Crowley from the Hatchet series and Victor Crowley itself. Although they're not real, like leprechauns obviously have a real life legend kind of thing. Yeah. Obviously Victor Crowley doesn't, but I've done it on the basis that in those movies, in the Hatchet's movies, he's a legend. Do you see what I mean? So obviously Leprechaun, Warwick Davis, original franchise. Obviously we have Leprechaun Origins, the WWE studio produced awfulness. And more recently, a sequel to the original movie. It tried to do the Halloween thing that I thought was quite interesting. Obviously, Victor Crowley, Hatchet 1, 2, 3, and the movie Victor Crowley. Movies that I really like.
Yeah,
I think they're great throwback movies with some incredible violence and gore.
It's easy for me.
Yeah?
Hatchet.
Okay. Victor Crowley.
Oh, I've not seen any of the Leprechaun.
Even the original?
No, never seen any of them.
Okay. So, the Leprechaun movies are played for laughs. They really, really are, even from the very, very start. But I always really enjoyed how they played, like, for example, in the original Leprechaun, where they distract him by throwing shoes at him. Because a Leprechaun will always have to shine a shoe. So he can't chase them because it keeps stopping to shine the shoes.
Wow. I didn't know it was an Irish Leprechaun.
That's such a cool touch that I really, really like. But I also love the fact that he can turn quite sinister. Warwick Davis always did a really, really strong job in him. The sequels get silly. Leprechaun 4 in space. You know, it gets silly. But there's always got this weird entertainment value that I quite enjoy. It's harmed by what came after. Origins. Leprechaun Origins is a terrible movie. And is it Leprechaun Vengeance? Whatever one I'm thinking of, whatever the new one is. I didn't mind it so much, but I always remember there's a part where it's like, and that's so silly to roll my eyes at, considering I enjoy the earlier franchises stuff. But when he's riding the drone, like it's just fucking stupid. Victor Crowley, it's simple, really. I didn't love the direction change they take between Hatchet 1 and Hatchet 2 in regards to his father, from being a more sympathetic character into being a more of a villainous character than anything else. But I guess the sort of brutality and just general mindless behaviour of him kind of makes... It's old school. It's fun.
Yeah, and I think the location of them films as well, where they put him.
Yeah, I mean, the swamp and all that. Yeah, it's a very cool visual.
Yeah, I like that. And I always see somebody at the Hatchet. Oh, yeah, Victor Crowley. Yeah, he's the swamp one. New Orleans swamps.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I always think that makes it stand out.
That's quite a good way to put it, really. Yeah, the fact that an area is just his, and you recognise that as such.
Yeah,
New Orleans swamp.
You could say like because he doesn't really move. So other film,
we can't move.
Mike Myers doesn't move, does he?
He's all over the place. So he fucking does. He ends up in California and H20. He's fucking jumping in. He drives.
And Jason goes all over the place.
He goes all over. He's in space.
Yeah, well, Hatchet's base pretty much.
Well, yeah, because obviously he haunts that swamp. So yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. All right, battle of the video game villains.
Okay.
In films.
Right.
So we have Pyramid Head from the Silent Hill movie and how he's portrayed versus the Tyrant. Now, this is a bit specific. I don't know if you're actually going to know this or you're going to remember it, but the third Resident Evil movie, which is the one that's kind of set in a deserty...
the Crows.
Yeah, the Crows, that one. At the end of that movie, introduces what is effectively the Tyrant character. It's the Dr. Isaacs transforms into it. It's got the big hand. She fights it in the laser room and kills it that way. Now, see, I thought that might be a problem.
No, I'm thinking of the big man in the suit, but it's from the games.
Big man, no, that's Mr. X. Yeah, no. Versus Pyramid Head, who obviously appears a few times throughout Silent Hill, dragging his big old sword.
It's got a Pyramid Head then. Like, it's awful. There's nothing even less human about it than like. I don't know. There's like, it's just horrible. I think he's more horrifying, Pyramid Head.
Yes, he is. He is on that front because ultimately, as a sort of mysterious character, you don't really know much about and how he visually is portrayed. Aspects like that I completely get. I think, it's really fucking cool. But I'm going to go for the Tyrant. I'm going to do it on the basis that Ian Glenn, who plays Dr. Isaacs throughout the franchise...
I'm getting snippets now you say him.
At times rescues a lot of these movies. A lot of them. Stopping them being the Mila show. Or, like, if you've watched They Made What into a Movie, me and Damon, who've done all the Resident Evil movies, big up Mila Jovovich. We love her. Absolutely. But we needed someone else, and Dr. Isaacs, and as the Tyrant, he looks cool. I'm going to go for that. Because ultimately Pyramid Head, I prefer the portrayal in the games, particularly Silent Hill 2, where there's a little bit more... he just comes across slow-moving and stupid in the movie. Yeah. Okay. Second last one. Zombies slow. So zombies that move slowly. Or zombies that move fast. So take your pick here. These are obviously two debatable ones. So, a good example would be to do original Dawn of the Dead versus remake of Dawn of the Dead. Original Dawn of the Dead are slow-moving zombies. The remake is fucking leaping, running, that kind of thing. And that's what it is. It comes down to your preference here more than anything else. Because some movies have done fast zombies really, really well. Big up the Return of the Living Dead. But it's fucking so far from my favourite style of zombie. I am much more of a fan of slow-moving mass. You say, well, that's not that scary. The scary aspect is they don't stop.
No, I'm going to go for fast ones.
Okay.
Like, physically, you've not got time, you're panicking anyway, you can't get your shit together, and you've got zombies that can move from there to here. I can't run that fast. I'm dead. Slow ones, bit of time to get my stuff together.
Bit of time.
Yeah, bit of time. Get a drink together, get a snack. Get going. But yeah, fast ones, they're more scary for me.
Don't get me wrong. I think in a zombie apocalypse, I feel like I'd have more chance of surviving with slow-moving zombies. I do. But, I'll choose fast as well. And I'm choosing it purely because of the Return of the Living Dead. Yeah. And how they're portrayed in that for me. But I am one of those that kind of leans towards, you know what, no. I've got to give it to fast because of another reason. Go on. The Night Eats the World.
Yeah, they're fast. I was thinking that one. They're fast.
And that's one of my favourite zombie movies as well. So yeah, kind of have to give it for that. Last but not least, sexy vampires or brutal vampires. So these are two different variations. You can choose from the sexy category. You can choose Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. That Interview with the Vampire. Those sort of vampires. Or you can choose something like 30 Days a Night. Where the vampires are... They're not there to kiss you and make love to you and stuff like that. They're there to rip you apart. Yeah. How you choose to sort of see that. It's an easy one for me. Can't stand sexy vampires.
Brutal.
I love a bit of brutality. While I understand why people don't like 30 Days a Night, I love that movie.
That's an amazing film. Why is it like 30 Days a Night?
I think it's because it's very slow moving. It is slow moving. We know that. You know that.
Weird.
But for me, it was just what I wanted from vampires, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hell, Josh Hartnett's really fucking good in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not gonna just extol the quality of 30 Days of Night. It's that style of vampire. It's the one I really enjoy. I love the fact that they see us as nothing more than food. Why the fuck would I even want to talk to you?
And I think if we kept sexy vampires, that's quite a broad category, but we'd have to keep underworld vampires, and they can get in the bin.
Well, they're a bit of both. Because I also think, when I think of sexy vampires, you can also split Blade down. Because you can have sort of sexy vampires. Yeah, Deacon Frost is a good example. You know, that side of things. But there's also a level of brutality in Blade. Particularly, say, Blade 2, where you have those infected monsters that are vampires as well.
I haven't seen it. I've seen the first one.
Well, Blade 2's got some merit. I hate Blade Trinity. I hate the third one. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, Blade Trinity does a Triple H in it, so that's something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think overall, I like the idea of vampires. They're quite, keep them mythical, keep them, we don't know where they're come from. Like the 30 Days of Night one. Like, they're just literally, they speak a different language, they're not...
Yeah, they're disgusted by humanity. Yeah, absolutely. That's my choice as well. I'm sure there's vampire seamstresses.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. That's our choice for some horror villains. What would you keep and what would you get rid of? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhblofficial as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?